The first time I saw her, she was standing alone on the observation deck of the Eruhan station, staring at the swirling violet storms of planet Zalara below. I had been assigned to the station as part of the interstellar research team studying atmospheric anomalies, but that day, my attention was elsewhere. Her skin shimmered with hues I had never seen on any life form before, lavender fading to silver with the shifting light. Her eyes were impossibly deep, like twin nebulae. I wanted to look away, but I couldn't. She turned at my approach, and for a moment, I thought I'd been caught intruding. But instead of fear, I saw resignation in her gaze. I don't suppose anyone ever told you that this view is not meant for people like me, she said, her voice melodic but tinged with something fragile, a quiet pain that I felt in my chest. I've heard some people say that, I replied, stepping closer. But I think anyone can appreciate beauty. She smiled faintly, but it didn't reach her eyes. Beauty is one thing. Love is another. You wouldn't understand that. I froze, sensing the wall around her, a barrier stronger than any physical force I had ever encountered. Something about her spoke of centuries of loneliness, or perhaps millennia, though she appeared no older than 24 by human reckoning. I think I might understand, I said cautiously. Maybe more than you think. Her laugh was soft, almost a whisper. No one could ever love an alien like me. Those words haunted me long after she disappeared down the corridor, leaving me staring at the swirling violet storms below. They weren't just a statement. They were a declaration of her world-weary despair. Chapter 1. Unlikely Encounters. Over the following weeks, I found her in the strangest of places, the hydroponics bay, tending to luminous plants that thrived in zero gravity, the lab, observing patterns in Zalara's electromagnetic storms, and occasionally in the station's library, poring over old human literature. Everywhere I turned, she seemed both a part of the station and apart from it, a paradox in motion. I tried to engage her, carefully. Questions about her research, her interests, her experiences. But every time, she kept her distance, both physically and emotionally. "Why do you keep following me?" she asked one evening as we worked side by side analyzing storm data. Her silver lavender hair cascaded over her shoulders, reflecting the blue glow of the lab monitors. "I'm not following," I said, hoping I didn't sound defensive. "I just want to understand. You're incredible, and I don't mean that in a scientific sense. I mean you. You." She didn't answer for a long time. Finally, she shook her head. "You can't understand. I'm not just different. I'm unlovable. No one has ever wanted someone like me. Not truly." I stopped what I was doing. My heart thudded. Why would you believe that? What makes you unlovable? Her eyes glistened, though not with tears. Try loving someone whose body glows under certain light, whose skin changes temperature with their emotions, whose heartbeat isn't like yours. Humans think it's beautiful at first, but the fascination fades. Curiosity fades. Loneliness doesn't. Her words hit me like a star crashing into a planet. Hard, bright, destructive. But I couldn't let her believe that. I couldn't let her continue believing she was destined to be alone. "I don't care about the differences," I said, with more conviction than I realized I had. "I care about you." She froze. Her eyes widened, as if my words had been a physical shock. For a moment, I thought I had crossed a line, that I had misread everything. Then, very slowly, she said, "You don't understand. Love for someone like me, it doesn't exist." "Maybe it doesn't yet," I replied. "But maybe it could." For the first time, she let herself look at me, not just with caution, but with curiosity. Chapter 2. The Storm. The opportunity to prove my sincerity came sooner than I expected. A massive storm erupted on Zalara, so violent it shook the station structure and sent emergency alarms wailing through every corridor. The team scrambled to secure the hydroponics bays, labs, and observation decks. I found her in the observation deck, staring at the planet below as though hypnotized. "Get inside," I shouted over the alarms. "It's too dangerous." "I have to watch it," she said, her voice steady but her body trembling. "I need to understand it. If I leave, I might never see." Before she could finish, a shockwave rocked the station, sending her flying toward the railing. I lunged, catching her just in time. My arms wrapped around her, heart hammering. Her skin was warmer than I expected, and her pulse was rapid, almost in sync with my own. "You could have died," I yelled, holding her tight. "Why are you so reckless?" "I can't help it," she admitted, breathing heavily. "Storms like these, they call to me. They remind me I exist." "Then exist safely," I said firmly. "Exist with me." Her gaze met mine, and for the first time, she didn't look away. I saw a spark of something fragile, something I wanted to protect more than anything. Chapter 3: The Confession. Days passed, and the storm had left Zalara more chaotic than ever. Equipment was damaged, minor injuries scattered the team, and tension was high. But amid the chaos, something shifted between us. We began spending time together intentionally, rather than by coincidence. I learned about her species, the Coralli. She had been born on Zalara, but like many of her kind, she had traveled across the galaxy, studying, observing, never staying in one place for too long. Her people had evolved to survive extreme environments, and with that came isolation, emotional and physical. "You've been trying very hard," she said one night, as we watched the twin moons rise over the horizon of Zalara. "Why do you care so much?" "Because I see you," I said. "Not just the alien. Not just the body or the abilities. I see you. And I like you. I like you more than I can explain." She shook her head, a small laugh escaping her lips, tinged with disbelief. "You really think that's possible?" "Yes," I said simply. "It doesn't matter what you look like or what species you are. Love isn't about that. It's about understanding, trust, and choosing each other every day. And I choose you." Tears glimmered in her eyes, reflecting the light of Zalara's moons. "No one has ever said that to me," she whispered. "Not like that. Not in a way that made me believe it." Then, as if testing the reality of my words, she leaned closer. Her forehead touched mine, her breath mingling with mine. "And you really mean it?" "I really mean it," I replied. And in that moment, something inside her cracked open. The walls she had built over centuries, the fears that had kept her isolated. She smiled, truly smiled, and it was as though Zalara itself had brightened. Chapter 4: The Trial of Trust. Love was not immediate nor simple. The rest of the crew observed our growing bond with curiosity and skepticism. Some doubted it could last. Others worried about the complications of interspecies relationships. But she and I faced these doubts together, each day strengthening the trust between us. One night, a crisis forced that trust to its limits. A power failure left the station without gravity control, sending everyone into a chaotic freefall. I was separated from her in the dark corridors, and panic surged through me. I called her name, over and over, until finally I heard her voice, faint but distinct. "I'm here." I floated toward her, guided by her words. She was caught near a malfunctioning bulkhead, struggling against the artificial gravity that flickered erratically. Without thinking, I grabbed her, anchoring both of us until the system stabilized. "You could have been hurt," I said, once we were safely back in the gravity-stable corridor. So could you, she countered, a mixture of exasperation and admiration in her voice. I've never had someone risk themselves for me like that before. Not ever. Then let me continue, I said softly. I'll always risk myself for you. Her eyes softened, and for the first time, she allowed herself to fully lean on me, trusting not just my words, but my actions. Chapter 5. Acceptance. Months passed. Our bond deepened. I learned to read the subtle shifts in her skin color, the changes in her heartbeat, the expressions that her unique physiology made so intricate. She learned my quirks, my fears, and my dreams. One evening, under the light of Zalara's violet storms, she finally spoke the words I had hoped for but dared not expect. I believed no one could love an alien like me, she said, her voice steady, confident, and filled with warmth. I was wrong. I love you. My heart soared. I cupped her face in my hands, marveling at the incredible being before me. I love you too, I whispered. She laughed softly, a sound like starlight spilling across the void. You've changed everything, she said. You've shown me that love doesn't care about appearances or species or impossibilities. You've changed me. And you've changed me, I replied. Made me see that the universe is bigger, more beautiful, and more capable of miracles than I ever imagined. That night, we watched the storms together, hands entwined, hearts beating in harmony. Zalara roared around us, violent yet breathtaking, and for the first time in millennia, she didn't feel alone. We had both learned something vital, that love is not bound by form or expectation or fear. It exists wherever two souls are willing to see each other truly, to embrace differences, and to take the leap into the unknown together. And in the end, she smiled at me, eyes glowing softly, her skin reflecting the swirling violet light. I never thought anyone could love an alien like me, she said. I held her close, whispering against her ear. You were always lovable. I just had to show you. She rested her head against my chest, listening to the steady thrum of my heart. I believe it now, she murmured. And for the first time in her long, lonely life, she believed in love, not as a distant possibility, but as a tangible, breathing reality. The storms of Zalara had subsided, leaving a sky streaked with violet lightning and shimmering auroras that danced across the horizon. The station, though battered, still stood, and for the first time in what felt like forever, the air felt calm. We walked through the observation deck in silence, her hand lightly brushing against mine. Each step felt deliberate, a quiet affirmation of the bond we had forged in chaos and uncertainty. I never imagined I'd feel like this, she said softly, gazing at the auroras. Her skin shimmered in the light, and I could see the subtle pulse of her emotions in its hues, soft golds and gentle purples, a language of the heart I had grown fluent in over the past months. You mean loved? I asked, keeping my voice low, almost reverent. Yes, she admitted. And safe. And whole. I never thought I could be all of those things. I stopped and turned to face her, taking both her hands in mine. You are all of those things. You were always all of those things. I just helped you see it. She laughed softly, a sound that seemed to harmonize with the distant echoes of Zalara's storms and the hum of the station. I think I want to stay. Not just on the station, but with you. Wherever you go. And I'll go anywhere with you, I said. The universe is vast, unpredictable, and maybe dangerous. But we'll face it together. Her eyes sparkled, and I could see a depth of emotion I had never seen before, hope, trust, and a fragile joy that had been dormant for centuries. Then, As if to mark the moment, Zalara's twin moons aligned perfectly above the horizon, casting a silver glow over the station. The auroras flared one last time, painting the sky with ribbons of violet and gold. It was a cosmic confirmation, a silent blessing of the universe for our bond. "You changed my mind," she whispered, her forehead resting against mine. "Not just about love, but about everything. About hope, about belonging, about believing in something bigger than myself." "I didn't change the universe," I said. "I just reminded you that love is real, that it doesn't care what you look like or where you come from. It only cares that two people see each other for who they are." She smiled, this time without hesitation, without doubt. "Then I see you," she said. "Completely. And I hope you see me too." "I do," I replied. "And I always will." In that moment, the station seemed to breathe with us, the hum of machinery harmonizing with the quiet beat of two hearts synchronized across species, across worlds. It was a perfect harmony, fragile yet resilient. Days turned into weeks, and the crew gradually adjusted to our relationship. Some were skeptical, some fascinated, but all came to understand that love, real love, transcends appearances, species, and expectations. We continued our research on Zalara, but now, every experiment, every observation, every storm held a new layer of meaning. We laughed together when equipment malfunctioned. We marveled together at the auroras, the storms, and the strange bioluminescent creatures of the planet's surface. Every shared moment was a reminder that we were no longer alone in the vast universe. One evening, as the twin moons rose again, she turned to me with a playful glint in her eyes. "Do you realize," she said, "that I may be the first Coralli ever to fall in love with a human? And you may be the first to admit it," I teased, pulling her close. She laughed, resting her head against my shoulder. I want to stay this way. With you. Not just for a few weeks or months, but for as long as we can. Across galaxies, across time, if time even matters to a Coralli like me." "It matters to us," I said, kissing the top of her head. "It matters that we choose each other every day." Her skin glowed softly against mine, a living aurora, a testament to the extraordinary life she carried. And I knew, without a doubt, that love had conquered the doubts and fears that had defined her existence for so long. The station's alarms were silent. The storms had passed. And as we stood together, watching the alien sky light up with the colors of possibility, I realized something profound. Love had no borders, no species, no limits. It was infinite, like the universe itself. "I never believed it was possible," she whispered. "Not until you." "Not until us," I corrected, holding her close. "Not until we dared to believe." And in the quiet of the observation deck, amidst the swirling lights of Zalara, we made a promise without words, to face the universe together, to explore its mysteries hand in hand, and to love without fear. She had believed no one could love an alien like her. I had changed her mind. And in doing so, she had changed mine as well. The universe stretched endlessly beyond the windows, full of storms and wonders, dangers and marvels. But as long as we had each other, we were unstoppable. And for the first time in her long, lonely life, she was not just alive, she was truly loved.